What's up, racing fans? This is Keith with Each and Every Stride, checking out a special edition here of my top five Kentucky Derby horses. But it's a little bit of a different twist. It's only for horses with 50 or less qualifying points. That's right, only 50 max. So I'm going to be talking long shots and even a buzz horse that's caused a big stir on Twitter. So hit this like button on the video here on Each and Every Stride and make sure you subscribe, get those notifications on as well. Kentucky Derby season is really at the doorstep right now. We're less than 2 weeks away. So really excited and got these five horses. So again, only 50 or less qualifying points. I'm going to be talking some long shots for sure. So let's get creative, other than these, regular top five lists, which for sure they're the logical horses, but I'm going to be talking some long shots and a buzz horse as well. So let's go. And without further ado, let's take a look at the top five Kentucky Derby prep horses. Not even prep anymore. Hopefully, they're going to be getting into the starting gate. So that's another thing, that things could always change here on the fly. So let's take a look here for number five on my list here for horses that have 50 or less qualifying points. And number five, drum roll, please, is going to be Grande. So for Grande here, is for the Rapoli stables, runner up at the Wood Memorial last time out against Rodriguez. What's interesting is that this is the only horse that Todd Pletcher has. It's the only horse that appears to be in the starting gate for the first Saturday in May coming up for the Kentucky Derby. So last out at the Wood Memorial, Grande did get bumped at the start by Sand Devil and raced 4 or 5 wide. So had a pretty eventful trip there and a steady advance inside the 9/16 pole, had a mild kick and kind of, cut into the lead there of winner Rodriguez, who was impressive on the lead there, speed at the Wood Memorial, but not the greatest of trips for Grande. So, maybe a horse that actually adapted well. I like horses that really aren't trip dependent. That's the key for a lot of these Kentucky Derby winners, because you're not going to get the trip with a 20 horse field or so. So Grande kind of fits that bill. Ever since he broke the maiden at Gulfstream in January, the speed figures have gone up. Lightly raced horse, only making his 4th career start if it's going to be at the Kentucky Derby. And as I mentioned, this is for the Rapoli stables and Todd Pletcher. And this is the son of Curlin by Warfront. So Warfront mare. So the pedigree is there for further improvement. So Grande is going to be my number 5 here. Again, for horses that have 50 or less qualifying points here on the Kentucky Derby leaderboard. Let's talk about a horse that have been on a couple of times. Disappointed last time at Gulfstream, but I'm going to be looking at him again here as a long shot. It's interesting that, are we going to get a long shot on this horse? It's going to be number 4, Madaket Road. So for Madaket Road here, Bob Baffert as a long shot here. Wow. I mean, this horse is going to show speed. Ran second in the Rebel Stakes, the Cole Battle. And then, as I mentioned, a dull 4th in the Florida Derby. This was jockey Mike Smith was aboard in the Florida Derby at Gulfstream Park. Now, Madaket Road was the number 8 post that day. It looks like Mike Smith was sitting chilly on this horse. I was saying, oh, he's got a ton of horse. Let's get this horse home. Nothing to give down the stretch at all. So Mike was sitting chilly on the horse. Nothing really down the stretch. Madaket Road was from that 8 post, so he went to the front, set fractions of 23-3, and also 47-2 for the half. So this horse, is he a need the lead type? Seems like it might be that way, but speed is dangerous at Churchill and the Kentucky Derby. And I've been impressed with the latest workout, back on the work tab 2 weeks later, back at Santa Anita. So it's not easy for a horse to ship back even from Florida all the way back to the West Coast in California. And how about this? Comes back to Santa Anita with a bullet workout of 1 out of 58 horses, 47 flat. Wow, that's a real racehorse time right there. So I would not discount the son of Quality Road. Now, I don't know what price you're going to get. Now, again, hopefully these horses are all in the starting gate. Things can change rather quickly, but I think Madaket Road's got a look. Speed is dangerous. Now, there's more speed signed up now for the Derby than anticipated in the beginning, but can't discount Bob Baffert with speed in the Derby. Now, back in the Kentucky Derby, Let's talk about the number 3 horse for horses that have 50 or less qualifying points on the Kentucky Derby leaderboard. It's going to be a big long shot here. Talking about number 3, Render Judgment. So for Render Judgment here, let's talk about little value for Kentucky Derby winning connection last year. It was the trainer of Kenny McPeak. Now, Render Judgment did run 5th in the Bluegrass, disappointing effort. But before that was the runner-up at the Virginia Derby to American Promise. Now, Render Judgment did break his maiden at Churchill Downs. I do like horses that do race well at Churchill Downs. I think that is something, at least a positive, for this huge 20-horse field. Horses that have a history of running well at this track. And if you look back at the Kentucky Jockey Club Stakes back in November of 2024, I watched the replay yesterday. This horse did gain, Render Judgment did gain a lot of ground, finished well. I know it was a 5th place finish, but that was back all the way back of November 2024. Maybe this horse likes a horse for course kind of angle there a little bit. Going to be a massive price, but you're going to get one actually on the Kentucky Derby winning trainer last year. Interesting. I mean, brushed at the start, saved ground, and in the Bluegrass. So brushed at the start, saved ground, was pointed in the 3 or the 4 path from the rail, just didn't fire. I mean, the Bluegrass stakes, there was a lot of buzz on Twitter about that race being on the slow side. Maybe, getting back to Churchill and little home cooking could be something Render Judgment, at least a price to look out come post time in the Kentucky Derby. And let's talk about the horse that's caused a big stir on Twitter. People really rooting for this horse to get into the starting gate, especially after the last performance there on the West Coast, none other than Baeza. So for Baeza here, going to be my number 2 horse of 50 or less qualifying points right now on the leaderboard. So this is the buzz horse of the hour, and probably more than an hour, I would say at this point. So ran second to Journalism. So Journalism is for sure going to be I think for sure going to be the morning line favorite and the post time favorite. And even when they spring the latch of that gate, I think Journalism, we'll take a look at them here. This is Journalism right here. I think that it's going to be a horse that's going to be tough to beat. But let's go back to Baeza here. I think that this, let's pull him back here. There he is. Journalism. I think he's going to be a top contender, but we're going to be sticking here with the long shots, and this is the buzz horse here. Now, this horse ran a game second to Journalism there in the Santa Anita Derby. Baeza was 4 wide, then made a bid, getting to the lead. He actually got to the lead and passed, some horses there, and Journalism did pass him down the stretch, but Journalism had to work for it a little bit. And there was a little bit of feedback that, hey, was everybody 100% impressed with that Journalism performance? I think this horse ran a game effort and even put away the 2-year-old champion in Citizen Bull in the process. So for Baeza, he's a little short on Kentucky Derby points right now. Gonna need a couple of defections, couple of things. He's gonna have to have some lucky cards go his way for the connections here. This is the type of horse, though, off that last effort, that could run the race of his life at the right time. That's really a lot of the Kentucky Derby. It's also about jumping up at the right time with the speed figures. Now, this is Baeza is by Broodmare of the Year 2024 in Puka. So I saw a tweet recently. They had a celebration for Puka. Incredible stuff by the Broodmare there, Puka. And this is Baeza. So Baeza is by Puka and by the sires Mackenzie. So Mackenzie's made an up-and-coming impact here as a sire. Big-time potential for Baeza. I think that this, listen, if this horse gets into the starting gate, it's going to be really interesting. I think Twitter is going to be on fire, and it'd be interesting to see what price we get on this buzz horse, Baeza. And without further ado, I'm going to give you my number 1. That's right, number 1 horse. This isn't my number 1 Derby horse. I'm still really trying to figure that out, especially with the post draws are going to be, soon enough here for the Derby. But this is going to be my number 1 horse for 50 or less qualifying points right now as it stands in the Kentucky Derby leaderboard. And it's going to be Neoequos. Let's give you an update here for Neoequos. There he is. So Neoequos, this is a horse that is in the money machine. In the money machine at Gulfstream Park. I really like this horse. Now you have speed, and this is kind of the angle from a few years back with Mage, right? Mage has speed, not the need the lead type though. And an improving horse is always in the money, doesn't throw in the towel, doesn't really gas out too much at the end. You're going to need that at the classic 10 furlong distance here at Churchill for the Kentucky Derby. This is for Safi Joseph. I listen, this is an interesting horse to me because he's faced some really tough ones. I mean, he's facing Tappan Street, who came back to win. Sovereignteen is actually one of the top horses, a deep closer that always shows up now. This horse has got a big look for me. I'm hoping he gets in, right? Because things could always change here. With the point structure as it is right now, he's right at the doorstep to get into the Kentucky Derby. He's going to be in all my horizontal and vertical plays, this horse, Neoequos. I really think that he's got a look here. And for Edgar Zayas, has ridden this horse a lot of times here. And Zayas himself is actually doing pretty steady in 2025, hitting at 17%. So give me Neoequos here. Now, one more thing I'll leave you guys with Neoequos is that I'll leave you with 3 words: rated by merit. Remember, this horse was a beast, a monster at Gulfstream in the fall and the winter. Now, rated by merit's off the Derby trail for a while. That's some strong company. This is going to be my angle, is that this horse is going to have a step forward speed that doesn't need the lead. That's the big thing here in the Kentucky Derby. Hoping that comes to fruition here. And it actually give you one more stat here, is that the Florida Derby has actually produced horses that have raced in the Florida Derby last out have won 3 out of the last 9 Kentucky Derbies, good for 33%. Thank you so much, guys. So that's actually an interesting creative thing I came up with, is 50 or less qualifying point horses. So that's how this top 5 worked for me. Going to be looking at these horses for sure. Post draw and the positions are so important. But these are 5 horses that I'm going to have a look at. Long shots, and of course the Baeza is the buzz horse there. But give this video a like and subscribe to Each and Every Stride. Also, give me a follow at Each and Every Stride on X Twitter. Really look forward to that and appreciate all the support here. And I'm going to be coming out with some more content. We're really at the doorstep for the Kentucky Derby 2025. Let's go, everybody. I want to hear your opinions too in the comments. Let's go, everybody. We're almost here for the first Saturday in May.